All right, let's talk about Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons, who, no doubt about it, this was a disappointing loss for them. I'm sure they're always disappointed when they beat the Saints, no matter what the two records are, but especially when you're 6-3, trying to take a stranglehold in the division, dropping one to a 2-win team, never ideal. Not to mention, forget about the division. You're playing for seeding here as well, trying to put yourself in as good of a position as possible, because it does seem as though they will make the playoffs. They dropped this one though. What went wrong? Well, for one thing, not everything did go wrong. There were some good moments here by Kirk Cousins and by the Atlanta Falcons. I think this play is a good example of a really good play by Kirk Cousins, I would say, where you see this over the middle route. That's the one that Cousins is going to look towards. And when this play begins, you see Ray McCloud. That's the player who Cousins is looking towards. Not wide open, but like, okay, is there a window? Maybe. It's a bit tough. But again, it's 3rd and 4. Cousins kind of has to just, throw it through the option that he feels is best. That's what he's doing with McCloud here. And watch this. Great throw and great catch. So there's two ways you could take that. The first is, hey, that's a great play. And it's showing that these guys are capable of making great plays. The other thing you could look at is say, hey, this is, what the Saints maybe were doing in this game, is making things difficult for the Falcons. And while they were able to make some good plays, are you going to be able to do it consistently? Because then we saw stuff like this, where this is going to be a 3rd down and 4 situation. The Saints are going to be playing, once again, it's a man coverage concept. And this time they're looking towards Darnell Mooney, who is kind of their number one guy, really, a lot of the time. I mean, I would still say London's their real number one guy, but they definitely love to look at Mooney in these directions. Cousins is going to take the snap. He looks over in Darnell Mooney's direction, fires in that direction, and as of right here, it's tough. This is a very contested catch. This is good defense by the Saints. And last time Cousins was able to make it work. This time, not so much. It falls harmlessly incomplete. So the Saints able to get a stop on a 3rd down and 4. This is just what it was, is everything was just a little bit more difficult than you would have liked if you're a Falcons fan, and that's how the Saints were able to make good things happen for them. Again, there were opportunities when the Falcons were able to still, do what they can do. Like, their good players were still able to make good plays. This is an example of that, where it's going to be, once again, it's a one-on-one matchup. Once again, they're looking towards Darnell Mooney, although this time it's a little bit different, because this is a 2nd down and 3, so it's not an obvious passing situation, and they're going to kind of take advantage of that. You see that they're going to run a play action, and there is kind of some pressure, but Cousins able to stand in the pocket, not disrupt his throwing motion at all. So, the pressure ends up not affecting him due to, I think, some good confidence there standing in the pocket with Cousins. You see down the field, though, again, this is this open? Not really. I mean, this is definitely trusting your guy. You wouldn't do this if you didn't trust Darnell Mooney to make a play. But make a play, Darnell Mooney does. Watch that really good stuff here by the Falcons. We saw this. We saw their offense being able to make positive plays. To say that this was just an wire-to-wire disaster from Atlanta would be unfair. And in fact, if you look at the overall stat line, you might be wondering, well, how did the Falcons even nearly lose this game? Or not nearly lose this game. They did lose this game. Why did they lose this game? Like, what happened? They were, Cousins had over 300 yards. Bijan Robinson had over 100 yards. Drake London and Darnell Mooney each had over 90 yards. Even Kyle Pitts had 55 yards. What went wrong? Other than kind of some of the stuff I mentioned of, these were contested catches. The Falcons had to work a little harder and weren't getting the same hit rate on some of these plays. But there was also, this play is just a good example of beating themselves is what happened with the Atlanta Falcons. This is a great play design by Atlanta, where they're going to fake instead of going to run a screen pass, and then they're going to have actually a couple of receivers, but really Drake London is the key route, running further deep. Watch as when this play begins, you see that, there's the fake screen pass, and for Drake London, he is open down the field. New Orleans has fallen for this fake screen pass. It's a really clever design on a 3rd down and 10, so this is a good situation. Here's the issue. You're going to see that, Cousins just slightly misses that throw. It ultimately gets caught, but because it was slightly missed, London wasn't able to actually catch it until he had stepped out of bounds. He bobbled it a little bit. Was ruled a catch initially, but then got overturned and was ruled incomplete. So, again, missed opportunity here for the Falcons. And there were some, to be honest, I think ways this game could have gotten worse for Atlanta. Heading over here, to be honest, I just think Cousins does need to do a better job protecting the football on some of these plays, like this one, for example. This sequence is a great example, where you're up 10 points late in the second half. It's a tough start to the game, but you know what? You can put up points here, especially if you could put up 7 points here. That would be great, making it a 3-point game. Even if you can't do that, at least making it a 1-score game at the half makes you feel a lot better. The concept here for Atlanta is the Saints are going to be in it's a man coverage play, but they do have, Demario Davis running, going to be covering over the middle of the field, the linebacker. That's usually how this play works, is a lot of times when it's man coverage, guys are covering over the middle of the field, the ones who aren't playing man, right? However, when this play begins, you're going to see, so this ball actually gets tipped at the line. I think that might have saved Cousins. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think this was a really dangerous throw that he makes. Because if, this ball gets through, I think at best this is incomplete. There is no separation. And again, this is part of the issue of when you're not getting separation, you start to make tougher throws. This one gets dropped by Davis. Part of me wonders, does he finish on that and does he get the interception if it wasn't tipped? Maybe it gets there fast enough. Maybe it's a completion. I don't know. But that's a dangerous play by Cousins, and ultimately, luckily, I think was incomplete. But then on the next play, this just becoming a increasingly bigger and bigger issue, which is Cousins. He puts the ball on the ground. He really does. He's been fumbling a lot this season for the Atlanta Falcons. Watch as when this play begins, you see. First off, a tough situation for Cousins. The tackle falls down on the play, so what are you gonna do? Not a lot. It kind of is what it is. But still, you would have liked to see Cousins notice this. He just doesn't, it is right in front of him. Just doesn't read the play. Ultimately is going to fumble the football. Got to give credit to Drake London. How did he read that play so well, get all the way over to recover the fumble? Don't see receivers covering too many quarterback fumbles like that. But, hey, got to give credit to him for being aware. But still, this is a mistake. And, of course, the mistake of the game by Cousins was this one, where just to set the stage, there's 2 minutes and 7 seconds left. The Falcons are down 3 points, but they're in New Orleans territory. So on a 2nd and 7, if they can convert here, get the first down, they're looking good to at least be able to tie the game. Now, they've had some field goal issues this game, but still, you would love to have that opportunity. When this play begins, it's an awkward play by the Falcons, because typically you would think right here, London should be getting a little bit closer towards the top of the screen. One thing worth noting is the safety is reading this play and crashing in, trying to make it happen. And I almost feel like Cousins is just trying to get this, basically trying to throw this ball before it gets open. Look, you see him make the throw because I think he's trying to beat the safety there, but ironically ends up making it easier for the safety because he throws it before London gets to the spot he needs to get to. Not London's best route on this one as well. I know he is playing through an injury, although looked pretty good out there at times as well in this game. But a huge mistake, and that ultimately kind of cost them the game. Had they been able to convert on that play, that would have been a first down. Again, who knows what happens, but this was a big mistake. So again, am I freaking out about how the Falcons played? No. They still have good players. The Saints defense came to play, which you knew they were going to do against Atlanta. It's the big rivalry, right? That's going to happen. Falcons made too many mistakes. Not all of them came back to bite them, but enough of them did that ultimately losing the game. I still think the Falcons are a good team. I think this was just an underwhelming performance by them. That's kind of how I view it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What were your thoughts on all of this? Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.